So we all know and love Dreamcastguy for, well, various reasons. And for some reason he decided to attempt to claim that Halo Infinite potentially being cancelled for the Xbox One is supposedly good. Now with Dreamcastguy's infinite wisdom, he once again talks out of his ass for about 9 minutes, spewing utter nonsense, so without further delay, I'll let the video play.
Alright, so I'm so freaking excited for this video.
Why would you be excited about less people being able to play a game for absolutely no reason?
What's up gamers, Dreamcastguy here, and it sounds like the Xbox One version of Halo Infinite may have just been cancelled officially.
No it doesn't. Your entire video is speculation based on a job listing, even though job listings are very specific and it hints at absolutely nothing you say it does. Plus the most hilarious thing is that on the same day that Dreamcastguy uploaded his video, it was already confirmed that the game was not cancelled for last gen Xbox consoles. I will never understand why YouTubers like Dreamcastguy are so incapable of doing any research. It took me literally 2 seconds to find that article where it proves the Xbox One version is in fact not cancelled. But hey, I guess it is harder to fearmonger, clickbait and straight up lie to your fans if you don't do the bare minimum when it comes to researching a topic you are speaking about.
Now the reason I consider this a good thing is because it seems like this game is trying to be so big and ambitious that the fact that this may be an Xbox Series X, Series S, and PC exclusive just means that it can be able to reach its full potential.
The game being released on last gen systems does not at all mean the current gen versions will be held back. All it means is that Microsoft will offer a downgraded version on last gen consoles. When a company is being backed by a business worth over $1 trillion, I don't quite think they'll struggle to find enough resources in order to allow the game to reach its full potential on all platforms. And I find it extremely ironic that he mentions the game potentially being cancelled for the Xbox One and Xbox One X versions somehow means that the game will be far better on the Xbox Series S, even though the Xbox One X and the Series S are similarly spec'd out, which in his own logic means that the Series S version should also be cancelled as it is quote unquote holding back Halo Infinite from its full potential.
Rumor, Halo Infinite's Xbox One versions may have been scrapped. Now, I just mentioned here it's going to be only on the Xbox Series X, Series S, and PC, but the motivations are the part that also has me intrigued.
Of course he takes some random ass journalist theory as concrete evidence. I don't know if he just doesn't understand what perhaps means, or if he simply doesn't understand what rumor means, or maybe he doesn't understand either of them. But hey, you gotta do what you gotta do to get that bag at the end of the day. Presenting rumors as facts inside your video is always a good way to boost watch time, and to subsequently boost views.
Obviously this week we got Cyberpunk 2077. The last 10 days have been incredibly crazy. The game is a totally broken mess on last gen tech. If you're trying to play it on a base model Xbox One, a base model PlayStation 4, the game is so glitchy and unplayable.
That reminds me of The Witcher 3 when it launched on last gen consoles. Maybe, just maybe, it's because CD Projekt Red make shitty console ports and it's not necessarily to do with the hardware.
And even on next-gen systems, they're still having save-state corruption.
Well damn, I'm starting to see a pattern here.
It's a very, very glitchy game, and in my opinion, from the people I've managed to talk to, it sounds like a major issue is the fact that the developers were trying to release it across so many generations, because managing to get something to run very, very well on an Xbox One X, a One S, like all the different versions, it's actually quite an arduous task.
No shit.
It's almost as if this issue is stupidly easy to solve, and ironically CD Projekt Red figured this out a little too late into the game's development. The 3 functioning versions of Cyberpunk right now are the Stadia Xbox Series X and PC versions, and guess what? One of those, that being the Stadia version of Cyberpunk, was outsourced to a company called QLOC. 343 Industries could take the exact same approach to the Xbox One and Xbox One X versions of Halo Infinite as CD Projekt Red did with Cyberpunk 2077 on Stadia, and boom, the entire issue you brought up magically goes away. Also, you can't compare a company owned by Microsoft, aka the 4th most valuable company on the planet, to CD Projekt Red. Those two things aren't remotely close to each other.
Now let's take a look at this. According to an updated description of a 343 Industries employee, it seems that Halo Infinite's Xbox One versions are no longer in development. Now, this is the actual thing here. As you can see, games in development, Halo Infinite for Xbox Series X, PC, all of this coming in 2021. And this guy is obviously working pretty high up because he's making the UI for Halo Infinite, finalized art direction, stuff like that.
This honestly doesn't show much. All that seems to be is a job listing. As far as we know, they could have an entirely different team within 343 working on the Xbox One versions, or they could be outsourcing it. I get fearmongering to get more views, but holy shit, this is reaching hard. One guy's job listing does not represent an entire game's development process, proven by the fact that another person at 343 confirmed the game was not cancelled for the Xbox One, as I showed earlier in the video.
Now, I'm going to very carefully show you this. I verified the information.
You serious?
Clearly, you didn't verify the information enough, my guy.
Resident Evil 8 was recently rated in Brazil, but only on next-generation consoles. This could mean that Capcom is also having second thoughts about bringing their latest entry of Resident Evil to current-generation consoles.
Or, hear me out, it could just mean that the rating company they went through is just taking longer to rate the last-gen versions of Resident Evil 8, and this doesn't have much to do with Halo Infinite anyway. Resident Evil is made by an entirely different development studio with an entirely different set of capabilities.
I mean, let's face facts, this is not the future of gaming.
Well, no fucking shit.
You cannot make a big, expansive, boundary-pushing experience on something this freaking outdated.
That purely depends on your definition of boundary pushing. A boundary pushing game for the PS5 would not be boundary pushing for a PC with an RTX 3090 and an Intel i9 10th generation processor, but it would be boundary pushing for the PS5. However, you can definitely get a game that pushes the boundaries of a more powerful rig to run on an Xbox One. You just need to downgrade it, which is what will more than likely happen with Halo Infinite.
There's also a theory that, much like Forza Horizon was handled by Sumo Digital and Playground Games to develop each individual version of the game, this could be the same case. However, that remains to be seen.
Just like there's no evidence to be seen which suggests that Halo Infinite won't come to last-gen Xboxes.
I've seen a lot of people saying this, which is that there is still a chance that Halo Infinite might be coming to Xbox One.
Well, yeah, I'd say there's a pretty big chance it will, considering the fact that someone at 343 confirmed it is still coming to the Xbox One on the same day you uploaded your video.
This is great because Halo was already having some problems. I think Halo Infinite, everything I've seen so far, the game kind of looks like trash.
I hate to break it to you, but if you thought that gameplay video looked like trash in any aspect but the graphics, then I doubt you've ever played a Halo game for more than a couple of minutes. The gameplay was widely praised, and the only thing people had an issue with was the graphics, and frankly, I'll take good gameplay with bad graphics over a game with good graphics and bad gameplay any day of the week. Also, I love how he shows an image of the game from months ago, and not the most recent screenshots shared by 343, which in my opinion look fantastic, which is why he didn't show them, since it wouldn't fit his narrative.
But that's okay.
I'm glad we can both agree on your argument being absolutely pointless.
And the fact that now they can actually zero in and focus on just next-gen consoles, this can only be a good thing.
Ah yes, less people being able to experience a game for almost no reason equals a good thing. You've got to love his logic here.
Can we just take a second to realize how freaking insane it is that they originally intended, Microsoft wanted Halo Infinite out this year?
How exactly is that remotely insane? Without COVID, the game would have been in a much better state right now and would have more than likely been ready to launch. I hate how people expect the game developers to magically know of anything that could cause delays before they happen. Also, the only reason the game was delayed was because of fan backlash over the graphics shown off earlier this year. And the graphics have undeniably already improved, as I showed earlier. So again, I don't see how them expecting the game to originally launch in 2020 was an insane proposition.
Like, even now it's kind of funny because they signed so many marketing deals. The fact that we're seeing freaking Master Chief popping up in Fortnite, we're seeing Master Chief commercials all over the place, there's Halo Infinite Monster energy drinks and stuff. Clearly they intended this to be out in a matter of weeks if it wasn't going to be out already.
Why is he acting as if it was some big secret that Halo Infinite was meant to launch in 2020? That was publicly available information information for ages. Now we have finally reached the end of this video, so I hope you enjoyed my video, and please do not forget to do all the things YouTubers love to beg you to do, aka like, comment, as well as subscribe, so that I will see you all in the next video.